Okay, so we are here with TJ Shevlin from Upper Deck. And what team specifically are you? You guys are broken into teams that I cannot ever remember.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of changed up recently too. I'm on the content team. I have a weird title that is a one person thing, and that is publishing content specialist.
Oh,
So
okay. That sounds important.
it is it sounds important, but it really just means like I'm the nerd to end all nerds for comics here. So like my job is to make sure that like aside from building checklists and doing the coordinator work that I've always done, now it's kind of like I vet the way we use comic book characters and stories, making sure that everything is reflective of what DC's done and that it all feels accurate and it feels genuine, So it's been
That's
great. I love
awesome.
it.
That's awesome. As someone who reads comics, I appreciate that Upper Deck has somebody in a position to kind of coordinate that, which it sounds
Thank
like
you.
it's kind of a coordination role. So Upper Deck is popping off. Well, you guys are always popping off, but this week, so we've got in June so far is you guys have done The Matrix, the
Hmm.
10-week adventure that we have all signed up for
Yeah,
because we
that's
refuse to learn
definitely
our
been an
lesson.
adventure.
We refuse to learn our lesson on these stressful weekly releases, but they're also super fun. So I'm very excited about
Yeah.
that. What else? So today, a lot of us got our San Diego Comic-Con badge shipment notifications. So Upper Deck
Mhm.
will be at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
Yep, we absolutely will.
All right. And
Um,
will you guys, will you all be there in official capacity, or a lot of you go just to?
there will be a handful in an official capacity. I won't be there in an official capacity, but I will be stopping by the booth every now and again. There are other things that I do on the comic book side of my life at con. So cheap plug, I will have a comic book panel. So you guys should all come to that. That'll be Friday. And it's gonna be very cool.
Can you tell us what the panel is?
Uh Yes, I think I can. I can't tell you who's on it yet though.
Okay.
But it is called Forging the Future, and it's about how sidekicks and teen heroes have surpassed popularity of their mentors.
Okay. All right, Titans
So,
guy.
hey,
All right.
I'm just preaching the gospel.
All right, so that'll be cool. So we can all stop by the booth and see who is there. I know last year you guys had a really nice setup.
Last year's booth was killer. It was so
Yeah.
rad, and it was great too because we had Tim Sheridan come by the booth, we had Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly come by the booth, and it was just so much fun to have all those guys talk DC and talk DC trading cards, and this is while Tim Sheridan's working on the now Eisner nominated Alan Scott Green Lantern book, and Jackson and Colin are working on The Outsiders, and all of that was in annual. So it
That
was just awesome to see their reactions.
and that's part of why the booth last year for me was so exciting, was because you guys had promotional pictures from these annual cards. And
I was so happy to see that.
that was the first I had gotten to see them. And annual is my favorite set.
Ah, love that.
Annual, I was gonna say annually. Um, so like for hockey, I'm a big fan of Flagship, and
Hmm.
so for my hockey fans friends, I kind of compare annual to Flagship. It's like a recap of what happened that year.
Yeah,
For my non-hockey friends, I tell them it's a yearbook. It's very comic specific, and I think that's partly what I really like about the set, is that it blends both the comic and the cards together.
yeah.
And so that was going to be one of my questions, was, so who at Upper Deck is reading the comics to capture what happens at DC? So that's what you're doing.
So I am one of them. Yes, we have two others that are working on the product with me right now. We have my pal Alex, who does all the photo stuff with us. He reads everything every week, and then Sarah, who's new, she just started within the last month, but she's also another one like me. She comes, she's a comics retailer, comes from that world, so her passion for these characters is just the same as mine. So there's definitely more people working here now that read comic books at one time than there ever has been. So that's great. And it's just it's nice to be able to reward the audience who reads comics in the way that, like, as a reader, I love to be rewarded.
Yeah, it's that I think that's one of my favorite things about this is I'm always interested as a mod for one of the Marvel card groups and as admin for now the DC Facebook group.
Love
Uh,
it.
make sure you come join. Um, I'm always blown away by how many people only collect cards.
Yeah.
And I'll say like, well,
It's
I'll bring up the comics and they'll be like, I don't read comics, I just collect the cards. And that's so weird to me because for me it flowed from the source material from the comics.
mhm.
So this is, I think, an interesting way to kind of remind people like there is a source material.
Yeah. I think annual is a great product, especially the comic book stuff, because it can serve three people. So it can serve, well, more than that really, but like as far as what we're shooting for here, you get the trading card collectors and they get what they're shooting out of this, and that's great. But then you've got the comic book readers who want to see the stories and the characters that they've loved throughout the year kind of celebrated in the way that we do it. But then you also have, and these two are kind of hand in hand, but the lapsed reader and the new reader can look at what we're doing and they can find the characters that they think are cool, or oh, I loved this character as a kid, I didn't know that things were still happening with them, and they can use that as a means to kind of jump on, whether it's jump on with us, jump on with what DC's doing, or hopefully in my opinion both.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why it's my favorite set, but I also enjoy annual seems to have actually kind of to what you were just speaking to. It has such a large selection of characters on the checklist,
Yeah.
and it can kind of catch you up. You know, if you've fallen behind, like we spoke before we started recording about the Star Rookies,
Yes.
and I've already spaced on that character's name, and she looked incredible.
Marilyn Moonlight.
Yes, okay, Marilyn Moonlight. I know multiple people who have seen her and thought, "What is the backstory of this character?" and gone to the comics.
And like I said, it's so rare when you get a new Superman character that's not someone with the S shield or someone who's connecting back to Clark or to whoever. And also, too, you don't always get to see new characters in the Superman corner of comics that are African American characters. So and a woman. So
Mhm.
she gets to hit all these different things that readers are potentially looking for. And so when the card collectors see a new character that they've never seen before, and the immediate reaction is, "Ooh, I want to know about this," then we've done our job to help them do their job too.
Yeah. So the inserts on this, I do have some. Oh, where'd my slides go? All right, hang on one sec. I didn't grab pictures of all. So this is one of my favorite things about the set is these variant covers, which we have seen in previous versions of
Mm-hmm.
Annual, but I don't believe we've ever seen them with new art or with variant
We
art.
we wanted it to literally be a variant cover.
Yeah, I love. I don't know why I'm a sucker for the black and white right now.
So
You
good,
two previous sets, you guys have done ePack parallels that were black and white. It looks so good. It looks so
right?
good. So I really, and it's like it's expanded this set as far as like the art and it just feels so much larger.
It also lends to the strength of the design. If you're looking at the design in black and white and it still pops the way it would in color, then it succeeded.
Yeah, okay, so you are like Titans guy, like this is where I
Hell yeah,
live. I'm living here. So
I love it.
that circus poster is insane. Like that and the Constantine. I suspect we'll never see him smoking. I'm a little
No,
disappointed, but yeah.
that is a little bit of both sides. That's both us and DC, but
Okay. All right. That makes sense. That's okay. So this
he's
is
been through lung cancer enough times in his life at this point, so
yeah, but
we're just giving him a
I'm
break.
pretty sure he solved that forever. Uh,
Yes.
so so I look at, so I have a lifespan when it comes to annual. So we first get it physical, which I'm
Hmm.
always very excited. I open a bunch and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to chill because I know it's coming to ePack.
Yeah,
So it comes to ePack. And for anybody who is new to ePack, one of my favorite things about ePack is the base cards, yes, are digital, but Upper Deck gives you generally multiple opportunities to have a physical version of that card that you can send home. So they call it stacking. Some of us call it combining. So if I am opening like a lunatic on ePack, which is the only way you can open, and
absolutely.
so once you get 5 of a card, so here, once you get 5 catwomen, you can combine them or stack them and redeem them for a color wheel. And that will be a physical card that you can send home. And I'm going to tell you right now, anyone watching this card that you're seeing right here, I can already tell it's going to have a gorgeous rainbow background that you cannot see very well on these
Yeah.
pictures. I'm so excited. Knowing the technology that Upper Deck probably used on this, I'm super excited.
The color wheel cards are stunning, honestly. And when you get them with certain characters as well, with whatever their primary costume color is, like the purple on Catwoman's costume, just lends to the color wheel so perfectly.
Yeah, I'm so excited because in previous annual years we haven't always gotten a foil combine, so I'm really excited that these ones are foil. And
Yeah.
then if you open a whole lot, or if you trade, so for anyone who's new to ePack, trading is a huge part of the process on ePack. There's a whole community, there's a message board on there that is like constantly hopping. So you just put out there what you're looking for, what you're trading for, and a lot of times people will help you get these. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a really great way to meet other people in the community as well. Because a lot of people, their username there is the same as it is on Facebook or Instagram. So you can kind of reach out from there and get to know people. So it's 5 for a color wheel.
Yep.
Then it is 10 color wheels for the color wheel sparkle, which are beautiful. I'm guessing that this is the same. I want to say Fleer Ultra Hockey had a rainbow sparkle. I'm guessing this is very similar technology.
I'm going to go and say yes, that is correct.
And those, somewhere in the mess of this desk, I have some. I've got a Dubois here somewhere, and they are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm very excited that the combines on these look so good.
And seeing people's response to these already in the group and all that, and just the general excitement for them, just it makes it so much more rewarding on our end to see how you guys feel about it.
It just adds an additional chase. And speaking of additional chases, so all the achievements, all of the not, I don't know how do I want to call them? All of the not mega achievements are backscatters.
Yes.
So I don't have them all listed here, but I just wanted to give anyone who's new, an idea of how this works. So you're already going to you're on ePack, you're opening packs, you're opening boxes, maybe you're opening cases, and you're going to put sets together anyways. So for Mr. Penguin here, so you can redeem for him if you collect all the number 1 spots, the Batman Superman World's Finest, which is possibly my favorite insert. I flip between that and Night Terrors.
There's some inside baseball on that one that we'll talk about if you like that one. So put a pin in World's Finest.
Okay. Beast World, Birds of Prey, excuse me, Dawn of DC, and the Star Rookies. And okay, I've said rookies twice now, and you guys just know I'm cringing inside, okay? I'm not.
Your eye is twitching. I can see
Yes,
it.
I'm not going to argue with TJ on camera. Just know. And just know that he is of a like mind, so it's fine. So you're going to collect all of those anyways as you're trying to put sets together, as you're chasing whichever of these inserts you're chasing. You're probably going to end up with these 100 cards. So you pop over, and I'm not going to bring that up here because otherwise I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. We'll be here all day. So you redeem them, and you're going to get this penguin card.
Yes.
So there are, I want to say 12 different backscatter achievements, or
11.
11. Okay.
11.
Okay, so the last one is this Batman.
Yes.
And I just put here, so to get Batman, so Penguin's included. You have to finish what you completed for Penguin, and then these other things listed here. So you got to get the variant cover set, the silver sparkle sets, the knights. You can see it all here. So Batman is no joke.
Yeah.
So you're committed. If you're going to go after this Batman achievement, you are committed, but the reward is large. But one of the things, and I wish I had captured more of the art, is I am in love with the vintage art chosen for these backscatter.
Thank you. So the art, so this worked out really nicely. Okay, before I give away, so what's very cool about the backscatter achievements is I knew since it was going to be vintage achievements, in my mind, there is nothing more quintessentially vintage as far as DC Comics goes than the 1982 DC Style Guide. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Dick Giordano are they are the visionaries of what DC Comics is in everybody's mind, no matter what era of comics you grew up in. And the 82 Style Guide is seared into my brain for the rest of my life. Okay. So I knew that this is what I was going to use. Now, I don't know if anybody has figured this out yet. I don't know if anybody really knows, but it's a theme that I put together for the vintage backscatters. It is a very, very specific theme. And if you don't know what it is, it just looks like a pretty innocuous sort of, basic kind of DC vintage checklist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's something very specific.
Oh, it's driving me nuts. Okay, so let's see. So it's Penguin, Lex Luthor, Hawkman,
Yep.
Brainiac,
Yep.
Aquaman and Flash, Green Lantern.
That's correct.
Robin, Wonder Woman, Superman, Joker, and Batman.
That is correct.
I feel like Brainiac and Hawkman being in there should give it away, because
I'm gonna send you a link to an image.
Okay.
And I want to see your reaction right now.
I'm either gonna be like, "Whew, I'm not that level of nerd," or I'm gonna be like, "Oh."
All right, I sent it in the chat.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay. All right, that was clever.
Should I say it, or do you want to leave this as a surprise for now?
I think you can say it. I think you can say it, and then I'll chapter this so people can skip.
Okay, cool. The 11 characters that are on here, and this worked out perfectly. 11 was a completely random number, but the very first wave of the DC Superpowers collection by Kenner from 1984 is 11 figures. And it is Superman, Batman, Robin, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, Hawkman, Lex Luthor, Brainiac, the Joker, and the Penguin. So Backscatter's Vintage Achievements is Superpowers Wave 1.
I never would have come up with that. It's those exact versions.
I tried what I tried to do, but not all of it was available. I tried to get the image from the package for each character, but not all of those were made available to me. But I made sure that each character was one from the Style Guide by Garcia Lopez.
That's so cool.
Yep, it's my tribute to Superpowers because that's what got me into DC. So
yeah, I really like those.
It's silly, but it's totally me.
So separate from these backscatter achievements, though, there are backscatter inserts and there are gold parallels of those backscatters that are absolutely gorgeous.
I don't have a gold backscatter, but I do have one backscatter here on brand, of course.
I love that. And these are so reminiscent of the vending machine, those prism.
Love those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going to the laundromat when I was a kid with my dad and getting as many of those stickers as I could.
Yeah. I think we all have nostalgia feelings about these. As soon as you guys
Yeah.
started using these, it's like, oh, it's so good.
It scratches the right itch.
Yeah. All right. So then, if you are, I want to say a lunatic, but let's just say you are a super collector,
Yes. Oh,
we get to the plate achievements. And I love, yeah, I picked that one for you. I was like,
I
okay,
love it.
with Dead Man and Constantine, let's throw him a bone.
You're too good to me.
Plus, I really like this World's Finest insert set. Like I said,
It's my favorite insert in the entire set, and that's saying something because every insert in here is killer. But
yeah, you guys, the selections top to bottom on this were just fantastic.
thank you.
So the plate set. So I am a plate nerd. I absolutely love plates. So I'll be honest, I'm a little that I can't pack pull plates, and I have to do like this Herculean task to get the plate. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because people are going to want to flip these to get back in there, and they will become available. And I am not going to read this to everybody, but I just want to show you that this is the ordeal to get to these plates. But I also want to point out for anyone who's new, Upper Deck on the ePack website. You know what? I'm so sorry. I'm like Froggy.
All good.
It's all the excitement. So on the website, Upper Deck does lay it out very clearly for you what steps you need to take to get to reach these achievements, and they will let you know there'll be like a field on the website to show you how far along or how close you are. And for some of these, like the plates where there are only, like right here, it says the first 100 collectors, it'll tell you how many are left. So when I made this slide, there were 43 plate sets left. And I think this came out, when did this drop? Has it been out a week, 2 weeks?
I think about a week now.
I think right about the same time as The Matrix, because I remember thinking, you guys. Yeah, so 43 left.
And then I saw yesterday in the group that somebody just got the speedy plates from World's Finest.
Yeah.
So those look great too.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite chases, though, is trying to get all 4 plates. So this feels a little bit, it almost feels like cheating, but then when I look at all of the things you have to do to get there, it's like, no, you've earned it.
You're still kind of pushing that boulder up the mountain.
Yeah. Oh, and for anyone who's new, when it talks about redeeming your backscatters, you still get to keep those. You aren't giving those up. You still keep those. You just have those this is like a reward for putting all that together, but you do get to keep. The only thing you ever lose are the digital cards when you combine for the color wheel. Everything else you're keeping. All right, so then the next, if that is not enough for you, and these are, I didn't even put the steps. You need to go to Upper Deck ePack and look for the steps on how to track these puppies down. So there is this is ready for action. Yeah, it's right there.
Yep.
Sketches, only 101. There were 90 sketches left as of this morning. And then the largest achievement that you need that Batman backscatter for is the 4-panel sketches.
Yeah.
And 11 of those had been redeemed as of this morning.
And I love how hard everybody is going just to get all these. Like,
yeah,
it's maniacal, and I love that. Like, it's that commitment to me is so much fun, especially because for me it tells me that it's not just the obligation as a collector. It feels like we're doing it right for them, for all of you rather.
I love this too, because this has people, they're like ripping this stuff, they're going through it, they're making those color wheels, because you're gonna, if you're going for this achievement, you're going to end up with a ton of color wheels, of the color wheel sparkles. Yeah. And I thank you, because I am not going to chase one of these sketches. So when you are ready to move those, I will be here. So it works out for everybody. We all fit somewhere in the ecosystem, and I'm like a little sucker fish at the bottom. I'm just like, give me your base cards.
just you and I are both like base set advocators. So that's
Yes.
even a word there. But
I think we made it a word. I think that's our new
yes,
podcast.
hell yeah. But no, I'm forever and ever. I will fly the base set flag. I think the base set, more than anything, is the most important thing in a set, because it sets the tone for everything else, and it's the one thing that you're going to be able to get in full. So I love it.
Yeah, this set, you guys, and I've been saying this the entire time, and this is not just because I'm talking to TJ. You guys know, like, you guys really crushed this as
Thank you.
as a coming out of the gate with DC. Like, I'm really excited that this was first, because this was from the insert choice. I have these night terrors.
So good.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Initially, I think this was the runaway insert for sure.
Yeah.
I think for those of us who are a little more comic centered, probably the world's finest is gonna really, yeah. Um,
What helped World's Finest as well is there are characters in that insert that didn't make it to the base set, so that's the only way where you're
oh,
going to
okay.
get them. There's a handful of those actually.
So
So
actually, now that I had that Night Terror card in my hand, so this is 24-25, but it seems like it's actually is it actually covering 2023?
this is no, the one that you have is it's 23-24. We're currently working on 24-25.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, because
Yeah,
I
so
was like,
that's why like the big things in there were like Beast World and Night Terrors, and then the launch of the Titans book is in there, and there's all that other stuff. That was all kind of like the hot like 2023
right.
stuff,
Okay.
and
Okay,
then
that's
World's
like
Finest,
I was like,
obviously.
Night Terrors was like a little bit further back. Okay, that makes sense. So I was talking about how annual is a journey for me. I start with the physical, and then I'm here on ePack. I'm making my color wheels and my color wheel sparkles. But one of the things that normally helps me to really knock that out, I'm so excited about this. I feel like I'm screaming. Um, is Pack Wars. So the checklist on ePacks has 360, not that I'm counting, 360 undefined items. I'm assuming that that's some of that at least will be Pack Wars.
Yes, and that's probably about as much as I can say at the moment.
Okay, so I'm very excited about
But
that.
yes, that is
So,
powers.
so for anyone who again is new to ePack, Pack Wars is a fun competitive way to open more packs, essentially. And the cards that you get out of those packs, you keep, and they combine for the color wheels, the color wheel sparkles, and there's also usually separate achievements for Pack Wars. So it's very exciting so that's my whole lifespan for annual is the physical, ePack initial release, and then Pack Wars. And by the time Pack Wars is done, although we'll have to see if you guys are going to do sketch achievements again on Pack Wars, the packs blow out so fast.
It's so funny. I wish that I could be like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna do
Yeah,
that.
I know you
But
can't.
I
I know you
literally
can't.
have no idea about what's going on yet with Hack Wars. Number one, I'm excited that it's in there, just because I know that there's a portion of the audience where that's their favorite element to ePack.
It's such an easy way to get cards to combine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys just killed it. You killed it with
Thank
annual.
you.
I feel like I have watched annual from 2016 through this version. It just you guys. I feel like you, and I know this is gonna sound like, oh, she's talking upper deck, whatever. I feel like you guys have really elevated it each year. I feel like you guys have refined it and refined it, and I was so impressed with this. Just the variant covers being the different art
Yeah,
and really standing out. It's just so
for what
good.
it's worth to you, internally, there are a bunch of us who feel the same as you. Annual is one of those products that kind of always got the short end of the stick amongst the collecting community, because it's never about the big hit or the
Yeah,
technology or all that, or the PMGs. um it's always the little set that could. And I for me, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's a product that rewards comic book readers. So number one, I'm always going to love that. But number two, it's such a great snapshot into the license. It's such a great way of looking at all these different characters, seeing who's being used, seeing, oh man, I hope you get to this person next year. But more than anything, it's just for us to launch this license with annual shows our commitment to DC as a licensor, because the product that we're launching with is the product that celebrates what they do over there. You know, so now it becomes symbiotic in that way, which again, these are the best ways that people can feel like we are paying attention to the comic book collectors and to the trading card collectors. So me personally, I love that.
I agree. I think that's why, to me, it was important that this came first, to kind of
Yes.
give us a taste of how are you guys looking at DC?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've always, like you, I've read
No,
like all the other companies, but DC has always been my, and
yep.
darn it, you know what? I meant to include it here and I did not. One of the things I was excited about was that I have seen some of the sketch cards were Zealot and Grifter.
Yes.
So I'm excited to see the characters that came over from Wildstorm get included. Grifter, I think, has a backscatter. The Zealot hologram is gorgeous. So it was just to see that you guys are, you know, someone there is essentially paying attention.
Look, I'm a, you know, we're 90s comic book kids. We were there for the start of Image Comics. Everybody knows Wildstorm was the coolest of all the Image imprints.
Absolutely.
And do not at me. It is a fact. And so anytime we can take the Wildstorm characters and use them, it shouldn't be a stretch, because it's just the same as using the Fawcett characters for, you know, the Shazam family, or the Charlton characters for Blue Beetle and Peacemaker in Question, or using, you know, the Quality Comics characters with Plastic Man and Phantom Lady. So in my mind, it's just, you know, 40, 50 years removed between one another. But, you know, Grifter's been a part of the Batman books, and Zealot's on the Birds of Prey, and, you know, Apollo and Midnight are massive parts of the DC universe. Jenny Sparks has her own book, and then the Engineers in the upcoming Superman movie. So Wildstorm is undeniably a part of the DC universe, and if I'm going to get to use it, I'm going to use it.
So going back to where we started, it's exciting to see that Upper Deck is staffing in a way that you guys are able to capture this and identify that and roll out sets like this. So this set has me very excited. I mean, I was already excited, but we're not going to get just the big 7 and that's it.
And look, I love the big 7, but even within that, the way I'm going to do that is maybe different than the way people want it, because my Flash is Wally and my Green Lantern is Kyle. So, you know, you're going to have someone say, well, what about Barry, or what about, oh, come on. I'm all the way a Kyle Rayner fan.
All right. Well, Hal and I will just be like, whatever.
Hey, you know, enjoy your boxing gloves. I'll take big giant mechs anyway. But, you know, it's fun, though, because we get to kind of serve everybody. And I think Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and the Flash are all perfect examples of this, because my Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and Flash are Kyle, Connor, and
oh, get Wally. Out of here. Get out of here. Are you serious?
I was 13.
Wow.
I was 13 when all that stuff was happening.
Wow. I have to fight you. How is anyone not just strictly an Oliver Queen? There is no other.
I love Ollie, and I love that I get to have him and Connor both in a set, and I can have Hal and Kyle and John and Guy and Jessica all in a set, and I can have Wally and Barry in a set. And that's where the difference is with using the DC universe, is whoever your favorite iteration of a character is, you can say you like Ted Kord, you can say you like Jaime Reyes. They're both in the set.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And that's something for me that I love, because, you know, I was, you know, 12, 13 years old in 1994. I'm dating myself here, but all of these legacy characters that are still being used to this day, so much of that started in that mid 80s to mid 90s period. Mm-hmm. And even with the characters who started those mantles, or in some ways took them over, because, you know, Hal and Barry, then Alan and Jay, but all of those characters are back, and all of the characters who took over are still here. So there's something to that staying power. And I think that's what makes trading cards such a great medium to celebrate a company like DC that works completely in legacy, because then we get to do a Stephanie Brown, a Cassandra Cain, and a Barbara Gordon Batgirl card. All three of them we get to do.
Yes, and I
We get a
know
Tim Drake, we get a
I know
T.
someone chasing each and every single one of those
I love that.
separately, yeah.
And that for me is what makes that so cool, is knowing that that's immediately somebody's jam right there. Or you're going to get, someone where like Wonder Woman is everything. Great, because then you get Donna and you get Cassie and you get Yara Flor in there. So however you compartmentalize your love of the DC universe, for someone like you, Amanda, you get Deadman and you get John Constantine, but you also get Swamp Thing, and you also get Detective Chimp, and you also get Zatanna, and you get to hit all these, the Sentinels of Magic, as it were, the Shadow Pact, whatever you want to call them. And that right there gives you, it kind of allows you to feel like, oh, that's great. The content team does care. And they care about these characters.
I really do think that's important. And I do really think it came through with this set specifically. And it just makes me excited for what's down the road. Like, I know the next set is Batman Metal. And I'm very excited. I'm super excited to see the final checklist. I know there's been a solicitation came out, but I'm all about that final checklist.
When you guys see the final checklist on that, and I'm just talking about the base alone.
That's all I'm talking.
Oh man. So it's going to be interesting when you see, and I don't want to give away too much, but obviously I don't want to fill 100 cards of 100 different versions of Batman.
Right.
Because you want Batman to be Batman, right? You want Bruce Wayne's Batman card to be Bruce Wayne's Batman card. But it is so much fun because there are so many allies for, not just for Batman, but then you have allies for Barbara and allies for Dick and allies for Tim and so on, where every one of them, even if they're not part of the Bat books proper, you can look at them and say, well, that character makes sense being in here because of their relationship to this other character. And my favorite part, though, and what we had talked about my my little Easter egg in the high series, low series on Metal Universe Avengers, there are characters that show up in both base sets. So it's awesome.
I think annual generally to a lot of collectors is considered a good stepping on point. It's an affordable product as well. Batman Metal is going to be pure insanity. It's just going to be absolutely insane when that comes out.
I think if people reacted the way they did to the Batman Metal achievement cards for Batman Weekly, I think they're going to go bonkers on this. And when they see the inserts that are happening in here, when you see, and look, I think the autos that we had on DC Annual, every one of them is a top tier auto. And I think what you're going to see in Batman is going to blow that out of the water.
Oh my God. I'm excited. I'm nervous because I know it's just going to be like lunacy because people are going to be PMG chasing 100%.
Yeah.
So but having said that, I'm excited because on ePack, I'll be, give me your base set. Give me your, I'll be here for it.
I'm trying to find ways to talk about
I know.
this.
I'm like, how do I
when I tell you that it does not matter who it is, everybody has a favorite character in both the high and the low series. Whoever your favorite hero is and whoever your favorite villain is, they're in there.
In both? Like,
it's not hyperbole.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but who's your favorite Batman villain?
I like Zaz a lot. But if I'm going A-lister, is Scarecrow an A-lister? I would put him as an A-lister. There's 100%. Like there probably isn't anybody I could pick that wouldn't. Professor Pig. Oh, he's so gross. He's so creepy.
Honestly, it's my favorite Grant Morrison contribution.
Ugh.
Is Professor Pig.
Anarchy.
I'm a Tim Drake guy. You think
Oh
Anarchy
yeah,
can
yeah,
show
yeah,
up in
yeah.
here?
That's true. That's true.
Come on. Come on.
That'll be exciting. I'm very excited.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's going to be really rewarding. And the hero base set, like the villain base set, is very easy to do because 100 Batman villains, which includes Nightwing villains, Birds of Prey villains, Robin villains,
That's a
I could do
cakewalk.
that
Yeah.
standing on my head.
Actually, it's probably more difficult on who you don't include, I would imagine, is a little bit
And
trickier.
it was there were definitely substitutes on villains in there, and I think it worked out for the best as well.
So did you have free reign on that, or do
I
you have
did,
to okay.
but like with everything that we do, DC has to approve everything. So they have, there'll be things on there where they'll be like, oh well, we think it should be this character. We would prefer you to use this character. So then you find ways to move everything around so that you can decide, who's going to go where, what's going to happen. But overall, like they're they have been so cool to work with. Like
Oh, that's
they know
awesome.
my passion for their characters and for their stories. And I think what's made it easy, aside from the fact that, Upper Deck is who it is as a company, and obviously our reputation speaks for itself. But DC as a company, they want to make sure that their characters and their stories are being left in the right hands. And I tell everybody all the time that our job at Upper Deck is we distill their medium into our medium. And I think that that's what we've done with Annual. And I think with Skybox Metal Universe Batman, you guys are going to see it in a way that's even on previous metal sets. This is going to blow it all out of the water.
Wow, because I'm excited you say that because metal is another one of those sets where I feel every time we see it, it's a little bit elevated. It's a little bit
Yes.
refined. And I'm
I told you
excited.
the
I'm
last
just
metal set that I worked on, I loved. Like that was my heart.
yeah.
This one I think is even better.
As someone who is more of a DC fan than other IPs, I'm excited and I feel a little bit like, haha, that you guys were able to refine all of this, and then I feel like DC is getting the reward.
Oh, they
Oh,
absolutely reap the rewards on this. And look, they have a hand in this too. Like I got to give a shout out to the team that I get to work with over there. Those guys they're incredible. They're super supportive. They love this, those characters and those stories the way I do. And so if I mention, it's always my go-to, but if I mention, a character like Ultra the Multi-Alien or Animal Vegetable Mineral Man, I don't sound crazy. And that's the best. So
they are your people.
it's so nice when you find the people you get to mind meld with. And
Is that
the guys,
Starro back there? Am I looking
that
at
is
his
Starro. Yeah, of course.
what is that from? Why is it so large to be that far
It
back?
was a
And
it was a mask from the Mattel booth at San Diego Comic-Con in like
oh my god, that's amazing.
2009 or 2010. But yeah, I love Starro, but I also love the pantheon of DC villains whose name end in O. So like Starro, Kanjaro, um, Despero.
Okay, everyone, so look for these in the future in sets. Look for that'll be a theme we'll see somewhere.
Look, the two villains that I mentioned before them, I already found a set to fit them in. I'm just mad, and this is where I want everybody to understand like what my commitment is to the content, like to the checklist. I mentioned Ultra and I mentioned Animal Vegetable Mineral Man, and in my head I'm like, awesome. I'm working on a set that I can fit those two in. This is so rad because it's super duper deep cuts. Like no one's gonna think of like a '60s Doom Patrol villain or like a weird mystery in space character on an Upper Deck card, but that's why I do what I do. And I put them on these checklists, right? And then Creature Commandos hits HBO, and sure enough, there is an episode where it's not just Animal Vegetable Mineral Man cameoing, but then you get the Crimson Centipede from Wonder Woman is in there, and the Fisherman from Aquaman are in there. And now in the latest Justice League Unlimited that Mark Waid wrote, Ultra the Multi-Alien is in there. So I'm mad because I'm like, yeah, I'm totally on this. I'm using stuff that nobody uses anymore. And now they're all being used. And so it looks like I'm reacting
now you're just trendy.
Exactly. But no, look, I love it because when I'm thinking about characters like this, it really is like I'm saying it now, Space Cabbie is a commitment for me to get in a set at some point. And if anybody uses Space Cabbie anywhere, you heard it here first. It's because of me.
All right, time stamped.
Absolutely. But I love that there's room for all of the weirdo stuff. Like we get to do the New Gods, or we get to do Adam Strange, or like I said, the Doom Patrol. Like all the weirdo stuff is just as cool as
those would be the weirdo
Big Seven
stuff, more so than for me. I want to see like the Vertigo stuff, but I feel like the Vertigo stuff is definitely, to reuse the word trendy, is definitely trendier than the New Gods.
But it's going to be nice because I put together, I guess this is a little kind of internal usage, but I put together a list of Vertigo books that are within the DC universe.
Okay.
So in my hopes of being able to do that kind of stuff. So that's where, like, again, Animal Man, Doom Patrol, Black Orchid, Shade the Changing Man, gosh, so many others that I can't think of off the top of my head, but like being able to Sam and Mystery Theater, like all those characters that are still very much part of the DC universe proper. So hopefully we'll get to do some Vertigo stuff down the road.
That would be amazing. So you touched on Creature Commandos. So
yes.
Upper Deck, and you guys did promo cards for those. I just sent those home. So you aren't just doing DC Comics. You're going to also have animated and movie properties at some point. We'll be seeing some of that.
It's looking that way, yeah.
All right.
I don't know how much I can talk
about. I know.
Yeah.
That's just a confirmation is good. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Sure.
I don't want the giant hand to reach over the cubicle wall
and just pull me out. Yeah, it's the claw. Well, the nice thing is this is the first time in decades, really, that it looks like DC's film output is going to reflect what's going on in the comic books. And so, fingers crossed. I mean, look, I remember when Mr. Terrific debuted, like Michael Holt, Mr. Terrific, because I was in high school, and that JSA book that James Robinson and David Goyer were doing was one of my favorite books.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a sucker for legacy characters. So now Mr. Terrific, 24 years later, is one of the main characters in a Superman movie. And we're getting to work on these characters right now, which allows me to pivot Mr. Terrific from a trading card standpoint into a position of prominence. And that I love, because again, that JSA book is still like one of my benchmark titles for that period. So yeah, it's getting to use that stuff in a way where it's meaningful, but also knowing that there are trading card collectors who are going to want, using the Superman movie, right? They're going to want comic book trading cards of Hawkgirl and Metamorpho and Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific. And I can tell you right now, all four of those characters are in DC Annual.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to cross-pollinate. I don't.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think that's a great way to put that.
Yeah, it's exciting. So this is all, I feel like I have taken up your entire afternoon. So I'm
before we go, I did promise you to put a pin in World's Finest.
Oh, yes.
So I promised I would give a little inside baseball, and this is how like amazing working with the DC team is, okay? So World's Finest is my favorite insert in the entire set. I think it's spectacular, but that's also because Mark Waid and Dan Mora, at that point were putting out easily the best book at DC, and now they're doing it on Justice League Unlimited. So just they are just such a perfect team, right? So there are characters on Annual, on World's Finest in particular. So I'm going to pull up my checklist on that real quick, okay? Because I'm sure I have that insert memorized. I just want to make sure that I have this right, okay? So our world's finest characters in here, right? We've got...
I love that Robin card, and I don't usually love Robin cards, but I love that one.
That's hurtful, but I'm glad that you like it. I will tell you that image turned out to be the one that DC loved the most for that set. So I was really glad.
Like it almost like if you guys made that a gallery print, I would probably pick that up. Like it would look like a circus poster.
It's so good, right?
Yeah.
So it's Batman, Superman, the Batman Superman fusion, Wonder Woman, Robin, Kid Flash, Speedy, Aqualad, Wonder Girl, Bumblebee, Firestorm, Hawkman, Metamorpho, the Martian Manhunter, Plastic Man, Red Tornado, Elastigirl, Robot Man, Negative Man, and Boy Thunder. So when we were working on this, the thing that was most important for me was that every single card in there was art by Dan Mora, so that it could be consistent the entire way through. If we're going to do an insert that's based on a series, I really want it to reflect the strength of the series. And as amazing a writer as Mark Waid is, Dan Mora is today, I think he draws what the DC universe looks like in my head.
Okay.
So, number one,
yeah,
I love.
I mean, they look fantastic. They turned out great.
Firestorm, Hawkman, Metamorpho, the Martian Manhunter, Plastic Man, and Red Tornado, all of them were originally on the base set, but we got moved into World's Finest just because that was like really the only books that they were appearing in. So totally fine. It made more sense. But if you take a look at very specifically Bumblebee, Wonder Woman, Firestorm, and then the 3 members of the Doom Patrol, all of those images are composite images.
Oh, really?
So the panels that all of them are from, or the covers in Bumblebee's case that they're from, weren't going to work in the way we needed them to for the card. So the background on Wonder Woman's card is from an issue of Shazam, also drawn by Dan Mora. So we took that background and they were able to make that usable for us for a card. And we put that image of Wonder Woman popped out from the World's Finest panel onto that card.
Wow.
Firestorm, it was the same thing. He was in issue 16, and that image of the Daily Planet and all that, I think, is from issue 1. So we composited that. Bumblebee was from a cover of World's Finest Teen Titans. We pulled that, put it on there.
That's a level of detail that like that's amazing.
But when you look at them, you would never notice.
No.
It was so cool knowing that not only
but just that no one, even if you hadn't done that, just that you guys went and did it.
They were
that attention to detail. That's amazing.
I have a major soft spot for Firestorm, and there was no way I was gonna let that image not be in this set. But again, it's like the only prominent shot of him in 2023. So they were so cool about, we'll put it in World's Finest. You can have him there. And so using that shot of Metropolis and the Daily Planet, but taking that Firestorm, because the panel that he's on, it's the Wonder Woman that's from there. And then it's like Green Lantern, it's Flash, it's Robin, it's a bunch of other characters. And
so someone who didn't know, who would try to panel match that, would lose their mind.
Exactly. So I feel like telling this story now allows everybody to maintain their sanity, which I don't want to see anybody lose their sanity over what we're doing.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
But it was such a great way too. I didn't want to lose Bumblebee, and but I really wanted Dan Mora art for her on this, and the only time he drew her was on a Titans, World's Finest Teen Titans variant cover. But it was perfect because she was shrunk amongst the other Titans.
So who finds that? Do you have to hunt and find that, or they can just tell you?
It was a combination of all of us. It was me, and then my pal Jeb, who works at DC. He's our main asset go-to guy there. he's like the asset king at DC, and he's another guy like me that just eat, breathes, and sleeps current DC, historical, all that other stuff. So we just kind of, like I said, we mind meld with one another, and whatever I'm looking for, if I can't find it, he's able to do it. If there's something he's thinking of, he can't find it, I got it. And it's just, it makes it so not just easier, but worthwhile.
That's awesome. So that bodes well for DC at Upper Deck going forward.
Yeah, no, the relationship is really, really, so in sync with one another. It's really great.
That's awesome. All right, so I think we will wrap it up here because I almost kept you an hour. I am so sorry. I could just keep going. So Upper Decks. So we've got Batman Metal coming up next. Let's see. We've got. So this is going to be. Look at this. Look at how fancy I am. Boom. So you guys get over to ePack before people who are chasing the plates and sketches buy up all of these cards, and then you will be sad that you were not able to get any. But again, like I mentioned, trading is a massive thing on the platform. So just get over there.
Yeah.
If you're not buying cards yet, don't jump right in. Take your time, see what you like, get to know kind of how it works. Feel free to join the DCCW Facebook group. We can help you get the hang of ePack or just help you get acclimated to DC if you're coming over from any other IP. Don't forget, if you're going to San Diego Comic-Con, Upper Deck will be there. I am not going to ask TJ if he knows if there's going to be any type of exclusive offering because he's going to tell me he doesn't know. Or if he did know, he wouldn't tell me anyways.
Signs point to both.
So we will just show up all hot and sweaty down in San Diego and hope that they have something exciting. Although last year they had all their gallery prints there, and that alone is worth the trip, is worth the drive-by to the booth. So
yeah, and they were displayed so nicely over there too.
Oh God, I need those. I still haven't bought them. You guys still, so Upper Deck does still have their gallery. All the gallery pieces are still available online. The 2 Frank Miller Wolverine covers, there's one in Japanese and then the regular one. I feel like I'm going to need those at some point. They're ridiculous.
We're offering pretty rad looking Frank Miller, obviously.
Yeah. So, and TJ will also be at San Diego, but not officially. Yes. So if you see him on the floor, feel free to stop him and tell him that Oliver Queen is your Green Arrow, and anything else is the wrong answer.
Oliver Queen is everybody's Green Arrow, but I have a soft spot for Connor. Look, at the end of the day, my archer is Roy.
Okay, all right.
What is it you said? I'm a Titans guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Oliver Queen. Well, because Oliver Queen literally is everyone's Green Arrow, if you know.
Roy Harper, the king of self-repairing mistakes. I love him.
There's just DC. I could just all day.
Oh, so, dude, you guys find me on the floor. I'm always happy to talk. I'm always happy to talk trading cards. I'm happy to talk DC. Tell me the characters you want to see. Tell me the characters you never want to see ever again. If it's a character I like, I won't listen. If it's a character I don't like, I probably still won't listen because DC will say no, put them in there. But I'm happy to listen.
All right. And so you've got your panel there Friday.
Yes.
And you are on Instagram. So if they wanted to follow you there to see what you're up to at San Diego, that would probably be...
I was remembering if I was even allowed to mention what the time was. I probably shouldn't have. But yes, I will have a panel at San Diego Comic-Con. And yes, it is about DC teen superheroes. We're just going to leave that at that right now. Yes. And then you follow me on Instagram. Star's my destination. Yes, like the Starman story. No A in stars, though. So.
Okay. All right. And then, so after that, I know for people like me who cross over into the sports as well, Upper Deck will be at the National in Chicago. You probably don't go to that. I don't know if entertainment has a big presence there.
Sadly not.
I wish it did.
I wish. Otherwise, I get to talk about all this to everybody in person and not shut up.
All right. So everyone who's going to be at the Chicago National, we have to find Grant, who I know is going to be there, and let him know that we are disappointed that Upper Deck does not have a larger entertainment presence at the National.
Honestly, if we could have a bigger entertainment presence at all of these different events, I personally would love that, just because I think entertainment is such a strong component to what we do. And DC's not going anywhere, man. So let's get that out there.
Yeah. All right. I think that's a good place to end it. Thank you again for your time today. I took up so much of your time.
Dude,
But
you're
again,
totally fine.
I'm so excited. This is such a great start for DC with Upper Deck. And thanks to everyone at
Thank
Upper
you.
Deck who's worked so hard on this.
Thanks to the fans who are buying it and love it as well. Like that, I just want to say real quick to all of you guys, the response that I've seen from everybody, whether it's YouTube comments or in the Facebook groups or, Instagram, whatever, has been overwhelmingly positive in a space where collecting sometimes can be just nothing but negative comments. And I'm just so blown away by how overwhelmingly positive and on board you all are. So like from us, thank you. Like it means the world.
It's now that you mentioned that, between moderating two groups, it is the DC side is a delight in comparison.
I love it. We're really happy about that.
I think we're just excited. We're just excited. The time has come. Here we are. We're getting Upper Deck attention. So it's
Stay
fantastic.
tuned. Look, there's nothing down the pipe anytime soon, but my goal at some point is to do an Allegiance product because those are my favorite.
Oh, wow.
So I love Allegiance. I worked on almost all of the ones that we did here. So
that's awesome. See, we're already like, okay, now it's going to be like 3 hours in.
Yeah.
Because Allegiance was the set that had the fantastic black and white.
Oh, so good.
But with the rainbow finish. And it got me to circle back and look at that set. And that's another one of those sets like Annual that is very comic reader specific.
Yep. That was one of the first products that I got assigned to was Avengers versus X-Men. And holy cow.
Fantastic. I feel like anyone who's unhappy with that set to me is someone who isn't interested in comic sourced art. They aren't interested, that's like a masterpiece fan.
And you know what? That's okay. I want everybody to enjoy the hobby and collect the way they do. But I'm always going to advocate for us getting to do sets that reward comic book readers who are also trading card collectors, but also are finding ways to get comic book readers to become trading card collectors.
Yeah, and these sets are fantastic for that. That's awesome. All right, thank you again.